afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, August 25, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call this Wednesday night after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to look at the transition in the financial arena and how it will affect the country. The creative process is a process of surrender, not control. Julia Cameron. You want to make sure you're in a comfortable position. Still as a statue, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling, with no outside distractions. Many of us, I wouldn't say all of us, but many of us created certain emotional and psychic shields as we were growing up as children in order to survive our childhood. Now, these walls were necessary at that time to protect us and keep us safe. Yet, as adults, these barriers are still up. They are blocking us from feeling love, compassion, and intimacy with others. And these walls are also stopping us from manifesting true financial freedom, abundance, and even profound health into our lives. Now, if you feel stuck in your relationships with others, money, or yourself in any way, it's because your brilliant light is still hiding behind one of these old, heavy, unnecessary shields. Now, you may ask, aren't there some situation where it's good to protect myself? Well, it all depends on how spiritually advanced you are and what lessons you're still needing to learn. Now, if and when you know you are an infinite being that will never die, then what is there to defend? That which is real cannot be harmed, so why protect it? Yet, if you're still healing wounds inside the ego, creating an identity that needs certain boundaries, then it will feel blatantly obvious there is something that needs protection. You may need to be as strong as a mountain to stand up for your rights in order to one day let them go. That 99.99% of the time, you are not surrounded by angry, hungry tigers, and this defense mechanism is just an old unconscious habit blocking you from total liberation. We have this need to defend ourselves, right? It is what actually makes our ego appear real. The ego, however, is like your shadow, right? And you've heard me say this before. Imagine everybody running around on a sunny day trying to protect their shadow, and the shadow represents the ego. That would be a sight to see. And this is how you really look when you defend your ego. Now, when you want to become a super conscious, awakened spiritual being, stop protecting your ego. Any type of defending that you do is just coming from a place of fear, insecurity, and weakness. Defenselessness is about doing no harm on any level to any being. It is truly living from a place of peace with all beings, and will only manifest peaceful situations. Whenever you get upset or triggered by others, do this simple technique. Become like a flute that is hollow and light, and allow your breath to flow through you and your triggered feeling. Who knows? Their negative words may start to sound like music to your new ears. Even if you are in a long-term relationship and have been hearing sour notes for years, Simply allow that song to play on through. Breathe into it, through it. Let your body feel it, and eventually release it. So it's up to each of us to make the choice right now to never protect or defend your ego. Just ask, whom am I defending? What shadow self is here? And is this aspect real or imaginary? And the more you investigate what needs to be defended, the more you realize these are only small, helpless, powerless voices from your past. It may be the same voice your parents or siblings had. And if you need to, then feel this need to defend these shadow parts. Then let it go. The greater your defense is, the more suffering enters your body, and you'll soon be forced to let go because you are playing into that which is not real. The universe won't let you buy into the defensive energy for very long because the imaginary always moves to the real. It's easier to see the deeper lessons that this life is teaching you once you become an unobstructed channel of awareness. And the more you can let down your defenses, the more receptive you can become to the abundance and divine power all around you and inside you. Truth is that there is really no reason to be guarded at all. Who you truly are can never be hurt by the outer world. It is only the ego self that believes it can be harmed, hurt, and destroyed. The timeless infinite consciousness that you are cannot be touched by anyone or anything ever. And as an eternal, radiant being, you are impervious to attacks from the outer world. This infinite beingness has never been harmed by vicious words or energy. All negative energy passes right through without touching the beauty of your timeless consciousness. As you awaken more and more to this realization, you will automatically notice the silliness and uselessness of holding any walls up with anyone. These walls block the love from flowing between you. And once you see this, you will naturally take these walls down, let the brilliant light of your infinite nature shine through. Now, a challenge, should you decide to accept it, for the next 7 days of your life, make this radical choice. Be unguarded. Practice it with everyone, everywhere you go. Do not try to defend your point of view or protect yourself from other people's opinions, judgments, or verbal attacks. Simply practice accepting and releasing whatever comes your way. Have compassion for others. Decide to be a powerful and unlimited source of lightness, no matter what kind of energy is being sent your direction. Do not take anything personally. Remember one thing, your ego is not real. Reside in what is real by surrendering to what is deepest inside, at the core of your innermost being. Whatever unwanted messages this universe sends you, welcome them. Return to resting in this spiritual source inside. Play with creating a new unguarded way of accepting yourself and others in each moment. Allow everyone to have their own unique experience without judgment, and look for the deep eternal loving in all of your interactions with them. We always make choices, and it is our ignorance to ourselves of who and what we really are. If if you're in a defensive position, or you feel that someone is attacking you verbally, and you feel this really powerful urge to protect yourself, that is an absolute ego move. No question, no debating it. That's ego. And here's the tough part is that we are so ingrained in physical material that it's very difficult for the majority of us to differentiate between that and who and what we really are, which is the God, the pure consciousness, which cannot be harmed. Okay? But see, we're in the body, so we protect the ego mind in the body. You've probably been confronted with things in your life where you felt that you had to protect yourself from somebody throwing aspersions your way, or cutting you down, or being negative about this or that. And you felt that you had to step up and protect yourself. But in actuality, you don't. You let it pass right through you. You just say to yourself, let this pass right through me. Let's let it pass right through me. And it does. And every time something comes up that instigates you feeling like you have to protect yourself, I'm not talking physically, right? You let it pass through you. Words, claims, accusations, judgments, let it pass through you. I'm not saying it's simple, and it is simple, but it isn't a cinch, because we're so acclimated and conditioned to protect our ego. And practicing, you eventually pick up wonderful habits of negating, not ignoring, right? Embrace it, let it go right through you. Anything that feels like it's going to instigate you wanting to protect the ego mind. And it's like anything else. It's like being deeply eternal grateful all the time. It's like being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself all the time, no matter what's going on out there. You visualize being in the center of the storm, the eye of the storm. That's where you want to be, in the center. Storm can rage all around you, but you're not engaging it. You know it's there. You're not ignoring it, but you don't engage it. It's just like not engaging to protect yourself from being affronted by people's words, attitudes, ideas, so on and so forth. You let it pass through you. And as you do that, more and more, it becomes a natural state of being. You're not adamant, you're not disrespectful, you're not confrontational, you just let it be. Let it just pass right through you. Float by like clouds in the sky. It's a choice, right? And it's trusting yourself, having faith and confidence in yourself and this universe. But it is a choice. And you kind of step back. You've got ego mind over here, continually protected throughout your life. And then you've got tranquility and peace over here within, where you know who and what you are, and you don't need to protect anything. You know what I mean? You don't need to protect anything. And this moves us out of the ego mind and out of its grasp. And it further allows us to master the ego mind even more. Because I've used it, the ego mind, you remember the cartoons, the Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers cartoons, the Tasmanian Devil, right? That's what the ego mind's like. If you want to get a picture, an animation picture of the ego mind, it's like the Tasmanian Devil. Get a video clip of that character and see how it acts and what it does. And it's funny because when you compare the two, you go, wow, that's pretty close to the mark. Because that's what the ego mind is constantly doing. It's insecure, it's always wanting, it's constantly on fire, it's always going after something, it's never satisfied, and it never will be. It can't find peace because it doesn't know where peace is. It believes that peace is outside of itself. And see, this planet, if you were just to view, not judge, and watch, you would absolutely see the massive control of ego mind on this planet. Massive control. It's like somebody is around you and they start bragging about a bunch of stuff, right? Well, usually your immediate response is to protect yourself by one-upping or wanting to say something about you or what you, this, that, so on and so forth. Or that it irritates you, right? That you become irritated. So, but in practice, and you know that you do not need to protect the ego mind, that you are pure source creator, God, consciousness within the body, and you just let it pass through. Because the unsettledness in others has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. You see a lot of people that get angry, right? Especially now. And they get angry, and you say, why are they? Well, because they feel threatened, and they have to protect their ego mind. So violent acts, right? Harming others is a very out of control ego mind. And it's love under pressure. Being angry is love under pressure is how I like to say it, because pretty true. You get young people that are violent and cause damage and harm to others. Love under pressure. If those young people were loved, nurtured, braced, guided, educated, and formed in a certain spiritual direction, none of that would be going on. Zero. There's no motivation for it. The turnaround would be helping others. See? Helping others. We come to the planet to enjoy ourselves. And help others. Like you see somebody in need, you help them. Right? Smile at somebody that looks gloomy. A hug here and there. I mean, these things are all our natural state of being. Our unnatural state of being is the opposite. Being angry, frustrated. Frustrated with oneself first, then frustrated with everything else around you. It always starts within. And I believe that we innately know that as a species, that it starts within. Species that are so trained in other areas and in different directions that we just aren't aware. And so we practice these things. You know how long it takes you from being upset to calm down, right? Could take days. But to be loving and nurturing to oneself and all things around you is bliss. You ever felt that? A blissful state? Because you're helping people and it feels really good and you're not expecting anything out of it? See, a lot of people expect something. If I do this for you, you're going to do this for me. You owe me, right? You owe me. You've heard that one. So what's in it for me? That's another one. If I do this, what's in it for me? What am I going to get? You don't get anything. Except feeling good, happy. What would happen if we all turned within and then we discovered that the natural state of being is helping one another? See someone struggling somewhere, so you give a helping hand. Someone's trying to lift something, it's too heavy, you give them a helping hand. We used to do that in our country long time ago. But it helps unify the species, the civilization. You know, working together, every one of us have phenomenal capabilities, right? And one very powerful, many extremely powerful. To shift and change, but see, we haven't practiced that much at all throughout our existence, right? We've basically been trained to believe certain ways, which in actuality keeps us separated, in a way, from knowing who and what we are. So we kind of wing it. We wing it in physical form. And in the beginning, we don't have a clue. We do not have a clue in the beginning. How do we get a clue? We're programmed. Information from our parents, information from our brothers and sisters, information. And then we go along and we learn. You know what I mean? And we experience, and that's more information. And the subconscious mind plays it back randomly, and that's more information. And if you really boil everything down on this planet, what is the number one extreme priority and value on the planet as it's viewed by the civilization? Information. Data and information. That's all it is. What do people do when they want to be devious and they want to, they sell information to an opposing force? So that they can make what? Money. Information. Information on this, information on that. It's all about information. That's it. That's the highest commodity on planet Earth, information. Secrets and behind-the-scenes activities. And what's it really all about? And first, it's getting our own house in order. Our emotions, our feelings, how we feel about ourselves, what we think about, how we view our lives. Where are we at as far as loving ourselves deeply and eternally? Right? Where are we at with caring for ourselves, respecting ourselves, being reverent with ourselves, and as well as a reflection to everyone else? How do we feel about life? Do we deeply feel it is the highest supreme value in the universes? Or is there another priority that we value over life? How do we feel about being a God within the body, pure consciousness? How do we feel about being a master creator? Okay. How do we feel about the ego mind? It's emotion and feeling while we're in these bodies. Okay? Bodies are highly emotional. And that's a challenge to us, God's. So when you let go and you surrender on a continual basis, a lot of this stuff disperses. It dissipates. It doesn't exist. Because you got to remember, it's created by the ego mind. Many of the thoughts that we exercise are not ours. They're the ego mind's thoughts. We send thoughts out. Right? They don't come in. We send them out. We create them and send them out. They don't come in. Ones that come in are everybody else's thoughts. You'd be amazed at how many thoughts that you exercise that aren't yours. Imagine all the beings that have been on this planet for millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of years. Do you think those thoughts, they disappear? No, they stay here. This is why we highly suggest that you go within, that you discover all the things that you have collected from childhood to the present moment in the now, and then look at which ones are not really serving you the greatest good, and you surrender them. You let them go. Anything, and no matter what it is, in the current moment, stress, anxiety, fear, let it go. You really got to let it go. If you don't, if you think you let it go, it's still there, and it will still be there, and it still comes back at you. But when you really let it go, and you practice letting go, surrendering, letting go, surrendering, letting go, surrendering, eventually it goes. And you don't care to have the ego mind grip you and to have you focus on things you don't want. Yeah, I've talked to so many people through the years that in a conversation, and just like maybe for an hour, I lose track of how many times when they say they don't want. It's unbelievable. Don't want, don't want, don't want, don't want, don't want, don't want, don't want. And the ego mind has a lot of that influence. It influences us to focus on what we don't want. When you look at that, you realize that. You say to yourself, that's pretty darn true. That hits the mark. I choose to make a concerted effort to focus on what I want. Now, when you're in conversation, you shift your word frequency by saying, I don't care to have that. Different, big difference. Feels different, too. But instead of saying, I don't want this, I don't care to have this. Big deal. Difference. And then a lot of people will start getting into the complaining basket, where they complain, they get carried away, and they're complaining about this, and then they look at this, and then they cut this down, and then they say this, and even themselves. And when that happens, you step back, you take a deep breath, you say, I don't care to do that. Why would I spend my energies on that when I should be spending my energies on what I want? So you shift gears in midstream. You say, I don't care to do that anymore. And you realize you're spending your energies on crap. All it does is it causes you to get more upset, more concerned, more. And then you just decide to shift gears and focus on what you want. Instead of being sick, you focus on being healthy, healing. Right? And the ego mind is super pessimistic. And it doesn't trust. And it's got high anxiety and stress. Why do you think so many people on this planet are grumbling and stressful? And the funny thing is, it's all an illusion. It ain't even real. And that's how we live, day to day. Yeah, there's bright spots here and there, but it's only temporary. How about permanently? This is the transition that we're all in. All of us are in this transition. Whether some know it or not, doesn't matter. We're in it. We're experiencing it. And then, when we experience it, we start to say, there's a whole different world if and when I choose to step into it, which is highly enlightening, highly energetic, completely the opposite of how we're living now. And then when you say, wow, that's a real twist. You see, a lot of us, like I've talked about, we get in this fixed place in our heads with ego mind. And we stay there longer, we stay there longer, we stay there longer, we stay there longer, we stay there. We become immobile. We become non-action. We become sedentary in many ways. Because we just kind of like hunker down and withdraw. If you look at people in the streets across our country, taking fentanyl and rhinoceros tranquilizers, what is that all about? Avoiding life. When you see that, those particular beings are avoiding life. See what I mean? That's pretty spot on. Why? Because they've gotten so absorbed in ego mind and defending and protecting and worrying and stressing and fearing that it's pretty much burned them out. So they crawl into a drug to bypass life. And there are other ways, people choose different escape routes, escaping life. Maybe you know somebody who spends their time escaping life, not nurturing, embracing, loving, enjoying, respecting, revering life, being deeply grateful and thankful for the very moment you're in, but ignoring life. Now you ask yourself, what is your choice? What do you choose? You have, like, you're in a candy store, you're a kid in a candy store. You can pick anything you want. Ask yourself, what is it for you, nobody else, that you would like to pick? For you, in this life, in this very now moment. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, focused on your breath rising and falling, and relaxed into your body. There are no accidents or coincidences in this world. Nothing is by chance. It is all reflection, indication, expression, and manifestation of your body-mind's vibration. Your vibration is determined by the thoughts and feelings you choose to experience, which are being sent out into this universe. Your body-mind is like a massive radio tower that emits a personal signature energy, which is constantly being received by this universe. Positive feelings and thoughts create easy, healing, and satisfying experiences, while negative thoughts, feelings, attract situations that leave us with a dark, lonely, and impoverished experience. For today, hold your attention on the most powerful vibration there is, love. Start by tuning your radio tower so it's working at 100% by practicing self-love. Love yourself, no matter what happens today. This commitment releases all negative possible accidents from entering your vibrational field. You'll win every battle with pain, poverty, and failure. Imagine what it will be like to be self-loving, self-accepting for the next 24 hours. You're standing on the edge of the unknown right now. So simply remember that you are always supported and guided by this universe. This scary precipice is just an illusion created by your mind. And when you step off of it, you will be carried by the wings of grace. Truly trust yourself fully, and you will soar higher and farther than ever before. 1, 2, 3, jump. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here Tuesday, August 26, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. In the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.